So, online training. Those of you who remember, I did a session on this back in January of last year as well, but then again, it's been a while, and some of you are new. And add into that, this last summer, Becky and I have been doing a lot of work on this. So one of the things we came up with last fiscal cycle before last, was an online training component grant that we got through the state library, which is basically to go out there and find some software that would work for us to get all of our training online so we can get it out there for people to see and use, rather than having classes once a quarter, which is about all we can handle, and then we still end up canceling half of them because no one can make them. So we've gone out there and we do have an online component for training, which is called Cloth internally. And it's through a company called Talent LMS. LMS is a learning management system. I went to a whole conference about training. It was interesting, really interesting. It was mostly for-profit institutes. So I'm like, wow, you people are really into some of this stuff. But anyway, it is out there. There's a link for it on the SELCO website. When you go to the training section, there's a quick link up on top to get to training, or if you go down to services, you can get to training down there as well. It's under continuing education. So that is where it is, little link, and I'll be happy to show parts of it off later depending on how we're doing on time. We are running a few minutes late at this point. And as for available content in there, when we last talked back in January, I had Circulation 1 in there. Since then, I have vastly expanded Circulation 1 to include more topics, more handouts, a few more videos, and added in a couple more quizzes, changed a little bit of the course organization around just so it works a little bit better. We have also added in add items. Becky has got in the cataloging basics? Fundamentals. That's the name of that one. The first cataloging course, and we'll slowly be working on the Beyond Copy cataloging course in there as well. Yep. Circulation 2 is in there. Bare bones version of acquisitions is in there. It should be revised since Becky and I have taken a little bit more training on acquisitions at this point. Eventually, we're going to get serials in there once someone understands serials.
Which maybe never.
Which maybe never. And then I'm hoping to expand it beyond just the ILS and maybe put some basics overdrive support in there and how to do things in overdrive like return titles for a patron and things like that. But ILS is top priority on this one. And when it comes to the system, it is an individual sign-on sort of thing. You just go in and create your account. I've changed it so it auto-approves the accounts at this point, and you just go in and sign up for your courses. It's not linked to any other sign-in, so you don't need to worry about that. Staff members can get this started before they even have a sign-in for Horizon if they want to, although I'd recommend having a sign-in for Horizon so you could like tab over and see, does this work? Okay, that's how it's going. And it's easy to manage like that. That's something else I was going to say about an individual sign-on. That's it. There are some prerequisites for the courses. At this point, I believe the only one that's actually set hardcore into the system is you need to take Circulation 1 before you can take Circ 2, because that makes sense. And I think we were talking about the cataloging ones being sequential as well. I'm not quite sure how we're going to handle that one yet. And I am going to make acquisitions and serials require you to take Circ 1 as well, just because Circ 1 is the basics. You need to understand that before you move on to anything else. Do you have anything you want to add to this slide?
Nope.
Okay. Hey, I covered this stuff. I'm awesome.
Ta-da!
And Tyler, just so you can put it for the record, we're also working on WordPress at the moment, so if people need updates on WordPress.
Okay. We're also working on the WordPress one. That was one of the extracurricular ones, but I did forget to actually mention that one. So yeah, circulation, cataloging, component classes, that's my phrase for add items because we don't actually teach an add items class because it's 10 minutes. We just do it whenever or over the phone. And so much of it is local, it's hard to actually teach that one, more so than any other one. When it comes to the courses, we do have several different parts to each one. When you go in there, there's different kinds of pages to them. There are ones that are purely text, like this is your block, this is what you need to understand about local requests. This is how it works, the regional system, the regional decisions behind it. We have some that are walkthroughs in there, like this is how you mark an item lost manually rather than waiting the system to do it. We have links to handouts in there. The cataloging manual has been created since 3 years ago. Love that thing. Slowly working on creating a circulation one based off of this, so we can get a little bit more out there. There are visual ones. We have screenshots in there. We have linked into the courses SELCOtv episodes, the ones that we've had out there. We've had video training out on SELCOtv for quite a while, and we do go through and update that. But now it's built into the courses as well. There is some repetitiveness to this, because that's good for education and people learn in different styles. But if you're going through these courses and you are much more a reading-based person than someone who watches a video, like me, I hate watching videos for training. I'd much rather read the documentation and try it out myself. You can skip over like the video segments, or you can skip over the text segments and just watch the video. They are, for the most part, redundant. There are a few things that are missing between one and the other, and we're working on getting that sorted out between them. Okay, the other thing we have in there are they actually tests or are they quizzes? I don't remember the terminology.
I think it's quizzes, and they probably should be called quizzes because for the most part they're 15 questions or less.
Oh God, mine are mostly 5 questions or less.
I think mine are mostly 10 or less. It depends on the unit.
Yeah. So in the courses, I believe all of them are currently set up to be sequential, which means you must go from one slide to the next, which that's fine if you're skipping stuff too, because you don't have to spend any time on the slide or anything. But when it comes to a certain point in the course, mine are usually after every section or every 2 sections. There is a brief little quiz in there with, well, I have some that are down to 3 questions, but apparently Becky's ambitious and has about 15 on some of hers.
There's a lot to cataloging.
There are quizzes which do require that you complete the quiz to get through to move on to the next section. And it requires a certain break point, the number of points right to get through the quiz before you can actually pass on. And I believe both of us has ours set up that you can retake the quiz, but only a certain number of times before you need to contact the instructor. And we do get reports when people take these quizzes on when people succeed or fail on them, so we have an idea of what to watch out for if anyone's going to contact us.
And if we need to make our training better.
Yeah, and that too. Because God only knows this is our first real experiment in something like this, so we need to know how it's working from your perspective as well. So you'll get through the content sections, the quizzes, and eventually you'll get to, do you have a cumulative quiz on yours?
I don't.
Neither do I. So you get through the last quiz, and then the last section, I believe in all the courses right now, is a little survey to tell us what you think about the online training. And be brutally honest, I will probably cry over the results because I really don't know what I'm doing when it comes to this sort of stuff. I know how to teach people some stuff, but online training is so vastly different.
Weird.
But after that survey is completed, that is the end of the course, and it sends off an email to the instructors for the course, which is me and Rachel for circulation, Becky and, well, me again for cataloging, even though I don't teach it, and Cheryl for cataloging. And that will also let us know that, okay, well, for Becky's sake at least, they've completed cataloging. I believe you're feeling comfortable at this point to upgrade their cataloging privileges in Horizon if they've passed the course. And I'm certainly comfortable doing that for Circulation 2. Circ 1, I still need an account actually created, and everyone gets Circ 1 privileges automatically when the account's created, so there's that. Certification comes up when you complete the course. That's basically what I was just talking about, and notification, and we'll adjust the permissions. I really talk a lot more than I should before I move on to the next slide, don't I? It's a problem.
A little bit.
But I think that's the last one too, isn't it?
That's it.
Okay. As the other trainer in the room who has been working on cloth, Rachel isn't one of our trainers. You haven't had much chance to work with cloth yet, but do you have anything else you would like to add?
If the other thing I will say that once you have completed a course, you can log back into the system and re-look at a certain section or a certain video if something has slipped your mind or if you want to look over something again. So if you're feeling shaky on something, or you are at school and you came back and your computer's wiped and you don't have your OCLC setup folder anymore, you can watch that particular video and know how to set it up. So it's not only, we've kind of designed it to not only be a sequential training course, but also as kind of an online resource for some of those questions that you come up with when you're sitting at your desk doing these things.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the group?
So in other words, we have to take the course again, even though we've had it here, in order to go access.
Okay, she's asking if you need to take the course again in order to get access. I'm not sure.
No?
You can just skip through and take the quizzes really quick.
You're going to take our.
Yeah, we're not taking your
No,
permissions away
we're
if
not
you've
taking
already taken it
permissions
here.
away.
No, 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 no.
Well, look something up in the course, you know, this particular, or one particular part of cataloging we want to review. We have to go through the whole thing first.
Probably yes, as far as I'm aware.
You can't test out.
You could test out just by going through and taking each
You could
test as it goes
just
through.
click
You
through
don't
all
need
the
to read all
slides
the
real
sections.
quick and take the test real quick and have
Seriously.
access to everything.
If you've been doing this for a while, the questions aren't that hard.
We promise, they're not that bad.
How do you get to this site?
There's links on the SELCO website under the training section, or it's selco.talentlms.com.
Can you do it as a group? Like if you have more than one employee that needs training?
We'd only get an email for the person who registered for it and is signed in going through it, but you certainly could have a group of people sit down and send us an email afterwards and let us know.
Who took the training?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Related to that, I've had a question this week about if, you know, this one location wanted to train a couple different people and they just wanted to have a generic login for cloth. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Do you have a mic on?
No.
Okay, Rachel was talking about she had a question from a location asking if they should have individual logins or a collective one. When it comes to registering for cloth, I would much prefer people had individual logins. That way we can track things like permissions. I'm not a fan of generic accounts, basically ever.
And it's also helpful for us as instructors to see where individual people may have had difficulties with a certain section, whether that's just particularly for that particular person or if it's something we need to change in our training. It's nice to have those individualized accounts to be able to see and track that kind of thing.
Thanks.
Anything else? Yes, Rhonda.
So is this the only option, or are you still going to be doing training here?
Rhonda is asking if this is the only option. No, it is not. We'll still be offering our classes, at least for the time being. We'll see how this goes. Anything else, or shall we move on? Here's just a basic view of the learner section and the courses out there. You won't see all these because I am also an admin and I can see the hidden ones.
Everything.
But you can also see I'm only 31% of the way through Circulation 1.
And 13%
I
through
created
cataloging
it.
fundamentals. What?
I was trying out your quiz.
Could you please show us how,
Sure.
from the website, where to go?
Oh, from the website. SELCO. No, don't get into the admin login. There is the training link right up here, or you can come down to services, continuing education, and go to training. Either of those will take you to the same page. Stupid mouse pad. And then the link is right here to SELCO Cloth. But here's like some of the text ones, got some pictures in this with some walkthrough-y stuff. SELCOtv integration.
So if you have a new person, do we need to let the help desk know to give them a log on?
Nope, you can create your own for this
You
one.
create your own. So when you first click on that link, it'll take
Where
you,
is
since
my
Tyler was
quiz?
already logged in, it'll take you to a splash page that's basically our logo, our cloth, and it'll have basically a username and password box. And if you don't have one already, there's a link to create one there, and you can do that on your own.
Okay.
So we don't need to contact
Nope.
Nope.
staff anymore. Okay.
And the formal word is actually test. So
You'll need to fill out still the user account form for them to have an account in Horizon, but for training, they can do it themselves. Mm-hmm.
here's what one. It's actually test. So oops.
Oh, it is test. Oh.
So here's what one of the tests looks like. Book arrives through delivery, and you check it out to a patron. Whose circulation does the interaction follow? It follows the items libraries.
Can we go back to the previous question?
You can transition around. This one? Was that what it was? Because I was moving randomly. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Collecting over to find. Where's the money go? It goes to the collecting library. Unless you want to send it to me at SELCO.
Make checks out too.
Okay. Otherwise, shall we move on?